What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the start of E3. Yes, I know for a fact EA Play start, but personally me, I like to say that it didn't sort of happen. Yeah, because I feel like with Microsoft, EA Play never happened. That's just my opinion. But anyways, guys, like I said, we are here to talk about Microsoft's EA conference because why not? It's amazing, phenomenal. Microsoft did a good job this year. Like, I think Sony should have showed up for this reason. So let's get into this conversation about this, and I'm going to explain everything of what happened at E3. Now, they started out with a game called The Outer World. This is very intriguing game to point out. I find it is very fascinating for a game to decide which way you want. It's an RPG, I guess you could say. It's like a role-playing game where you literally just decide what you want. You could either be nice or not. And I find it's very fascinating to go either route, which a lot of games do this, but I find not a lot of games do want to go on that route. There's one game I will be talking about further on, but to start out for a conference, I would say this was actually a great game to show the audience before anything else. The next game was a world premiere, which is called Bleeding Edge. Now, this game I found was a bit, I guess, fascinating to watch because it is a 4-player or 4v4, I guess you could say, where literally it's like a team battle match, go back and forth. It's very unique of a style for this. I know a lot of games are like this personally, but I find the detail and of course, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like another game I can't think of right now, but it has like a unique taste to them bringing this game alive. Now, the next game I will say is probably something that you guys seen around here and there, and it's had its own games, of course, coming out, which is called Ori and the Will of Wisps. Now, this is a new part, I guess a new chapter in the game, I guess you could say, where you're fighting these big creatures, and you're just a little guy that's just trying to survive. Personally, for me, I love the style of this game. Literally the designing, the texture on it, of course, like for the animations. I would say it's probably good for an indie game, personally. Like, I know it's its own franchise at this point, but it's still a unique style game, and I kind of like it for that personal reason. So, now the next game, I was very surprised to see this, but it is called Minecraft Dungeons. This is where you can literally play by yourself or play with others, which is a for local or online play, where you literally are kind of just playing Minecraft, but like an RPG version of it, I guess you could say. It's a very unique style that they're putting a twist onto Minecraft, and it's just, I was kind of shocked personally, like I said, and I love this kind of style for gameplay. So if you're like me that likes this kind of stuff too, and I know I've already said this for the last one, but still, this is a very fascinating thing for me to see Minecraft evolve from the original games. So, like I said, it's very fascinating to see this. Star Wars The Jedi Fallen Order was shown also at EA Play, but today I'm going to be talking about it on Xbox because why not? I love how they actually show a trailer to the game, which they did show gameplay, of course, at the EA Play, but I found this was more fascinating to watch personally for me, and at the same time, you still learn a lot, even though they didn't give you any gameplay for the trailer. So either way, I found this was a very fascinating game to see. Now, this game, I will say, was different. I didn't think this was going to be a game that I was going to hear or ever hear about, but it is a world premiere game which is called Blair Witch. Who would have thought they took a movie into a game? That is very fascinating indeed. Now, anyways, it is a horror game, of course, with a camera. You go around. It's kind of like Outlast if you look at it personally, but you're in the woods. And it's just the Blair Witch Project, pretty much. Just, if you already know what the movie's about, you kind of know what the game is at this point. Now, this took the cake for me personally because I didn't think this was going to happen, but we got to see more of Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm personally looking forward to this game. I love how it's an RPG. You can choose your own route, of course, and just have at it. It's a role-playing game. And like, you can design yourself, you can customize the way you like yourself, you can do good decision, bad decision, whichever way you would like to make this game possible. And the one thing that really caught my eye was Keanu Reeves. That's right, this man is in the game. After watching John Wick 3, like, I don't know, about 2 or 3 weeks ago for me, I personally love the franchise for John Wick. And having him in this game, the way he looks in this game, he kind of reminds me of John Wick with a robotic arm, is so fascinating to me. And see him going on stage, just in general, is even more fascinating to me because I'm a big fan of Keanu Reeves. And I love to see, like, actual gameplay with Keanu Reeves now. And I just can't wait to see where things go for this game now. Also, before I forget, April 16th, 2020 is the game that Keanu Reeves got to show us on the stage, and I thought it was really fascinating as well. The next game is very iconic if you guys played this game years ago, which is Battletoads. Yes, they remastered this game and shaped it up very, very well. Personally, I love the cartoonish style to this game. I love how they bring back the old classic ways of the arcade, and also too, you get to drive through these obstacles as the usual game itself. So seeing this being remastered, of course, and seeing it come to life one more time, and I can tell that they put love into this game, of course, but it's very fascinating to see this come back as a trailer, and I think it's going to be fascinating just having gameplay and playing this game personally for the game. So if you guys enjoyed Battletoads, you'll probably like this game as well. Legend of Wright is a very, very different game. It is very more of a handmade game where you are playing the game through a book and then also in real life. It's very, very different and unique, like I said. And I don't think anyone has ever came across this platform to go this way. And I will say, for kids personally, if they love stuff like this, they would probably enjoy to have this imagination in front of them. I would say it's personally for kids to play this game, and if you have children or anyone that is, you know, maybe that pretty much anyone that likes this kind of stuff, this is their type of game then, and definitely should check out. Now, they did remaster a game called Age of Empire 2. Now, I have heard about this game before, never played it, but it is a fascinating concept if you guys have played these games years ago. I played similar games like this where you're pretty much trying to take empires. You're literally trying to build and make sure that you do not get destroyed at the same time, but also you can conquer other people at the same time. So, if you like games like that personally and never played Age of Empire 2, or want to get into some kind of different game and never played something like this is probably something for you then. I'm just going to throw that out. It's not my type. I played these games years ago, so I'm kind of used to playing these games by now, but if this is the type of game for you guys, then feel free to get the remastered version as well. Now, speaking about Age of Empire 2 with the combat system like that, there is another game that they showed afterwards, which is Wasteland 3. They really wanted to express the part about Colorado. I personally don't understand why. Like, I get it. It is Colorado, I guess, in the area. But they really, really wanted to point that out, that it was Colorado. So, if you guys want to play a game in Colorado, go right ahead. It is literally being destroyed by everything else. Even though the guy tries to like sell you in the game about it, how it's a nice, peaceful place, personally, it would not be a place I would like to go on vacation anytime soon. So, if you're like me, probably would never go there just because of what that game looks like, but in reality, though, it probably is a nice place. I'm just making a joke because what the game looks like. There's nothing wrong with Colorado. So, now the next game kind of was already shown before, of course, which is called Psychonauts 2. Now, personally, I love the president of this company. He is definitely a very iconic, I guess you could say, character to the gaming franchise, and at the same time, he's a very funny man. I just want to point that out. This guy is amazing. So when I saw him come on stage, even though he was, of course, talking about Psychonauts 2, I personally just had fun being entertained by watching him just being on stage personally. So he's a really, I don't know, a very fascinating character, like I said, and would be probably amazing to work for this guy. I don't know, but he is definitely just a comedic guy, and I don't know. He just seems like someone that would be fun to work with. I don't know. Now, this is a world premiere, of course, which they did show this already several times over the years, but it is now a full collection, which is called the Luke Skywalker Saga, which is the LEGO Star Wars collection. So if you guys like to start from episode 1 all the way to pretty much now, then you will have a chance to literally play the whole saga of Luke Skywalker. So have at it. It's definitely a fun game. I played the game before actually on my channel. It's actually really fun. If you're a LEGO person and you want to play it, then go right ahead, play that game, and just have fun brawling out with your lightsaber. So now this is another game I personally like as well. Now, even though I was very hyped to see Keanu Reeves on stage, this is a game personal to my heart personally that I kind of was waiting for gameplay for. I completely forgot that this would have been shown at E3, but it is Dragon Ball Z Project Z RPG, and they changed the name at the end, which is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. It's literally probably one of the games I would love to play right now. It's kind of like Xenoverse 2, but a lot more open world RPG just for Goku. It's just amazing to see the environments and just the combat systems of this game, and I don't know, it just feels like it's so more open-wise to play and makes it feel like you're actually in that area. And I love that for that concept, because it's been way too long since we've had an actual, you know, environment in that range. So I completely love the way this is going, and can't wait to get my hands on it. It is coming out in 2020. We don't know specifically yet what time of the year, but it'll be coming out in 2020. That's all we know. Another world premiere game, which was called 12 Minutes, is a game that literally just, you got 12 minutes. You got to figure out how to save your wife and how to solve this problem. And I kind of like this. This is like a fascinating game to literally kind of loop back time over and over until you figure out the right pattern of how to save your wife and to get her out of this mess. Because personally, I think if we, you know, for our partners, I guess you could say, if we had to do something and we got to fix time over and over and over to figure a way to, like, make it a lot better than what just happened, I think a lot of us would love to do something like that personally, and just see where we could take that and use that as advantage to make it you know, a greater time to save the ones we love, then let it perish the way the original story took. So I love this game for that personally. I think it's a very unique game to play, and I'm actually probably might want to play this game myself. So it's very fascinating personally. Way to the Woods is a game that literally is just you and I guess your child. You have to literally figure a way to get to literally home. You gotta find a way out. You use your antlers to search for the light around you when you're in the dark, and you have to find a way. It kind of reminds me of a game like Journey in that, similar to it. I'm not going to say it is Journey, but it is like a similar taste to it. And I would say if you guys like certain games like that where it is very calm, like, and you just don't know what's going to happen during your like travels on the way to the woods, and it becomes very satisfying, I find, for those kind of games. So if that's your type of game, I would recommend probably checking it out and seeing if it's a good game or not. The next game is Gears 5, which a lot of fans would love to play right now because, one, you get Terminator if you pre-order this game or get it the first week. And I find that's very fascinating personally because I would love to play Gears with Terminator. For some reason, it just seems like a fascinating combination to put together. And I think personally it would be fascinating to play it. It does come out, the whole game, September 10th, but if you get the pass, it'll be out September 6th, so you guys get to play it 4 days ahead. Yes, so if you guys get the pass, you get to play it sooner. But also too, there's a mode called Escape, where pretty much you gotta figure a way to get out of this place while you pretty much are trying to blow up this place at the same time. So escape while you can before you get eliminated by your own offense, I guess you could say. So the next one, of course, they did show again Dying Light 2, so I'm not really going to get into much details of this as well, which they did show a trailer for, and I will say is very fascinating that your character is actually infected. Yeah, so it's very fascinating to have a character who you pretty much would have probably started without a guy who wasn't infected in the first place, but then find out, well, now you're playing as a guy who is infected. How in a world when you don't realize what's going to happen to you, but you try to fight off this disease inside of you so you don't get out of control and stuff. So that, I will say, for Dying Light 2, that part is fascinating. So we'll have to see what happens when the game comes out. So everyone knows Forza Horizon 4 pretty much already came out already, but of course they had to add another attachment to this game, and of course, what better way to make something more fun and corny for everybody than Legos? Yes, they have Lego Speed Champions, and my god, it was probably one of the hilarious trailers to watch, literally to watch, just for a racing game in general. I found, you know, the corniness of the Legos and all that stuff, and having the Lego song, which I'm not really going to be talking or showing the song, but either way, it just fit the bill personally to just randomly have this little trailer show up and just have a blast, you know, and maybe you might start singing a tune. I don't know. I'm not saying I did or not, but I'm just going to point that way. So this game is a world premiere, literally to us in North America. It is also in Japan and probably every other place around there that has this game. And personally, I think it's very fascinating to see this game come over to North America's side, which is Phantom Star Online 2. And personally, the trailer is amazing. Of course, it seems like you can customize your character and stuff like that. And I would just love it personally if, like, just to play the game in general, because you get to play your friends online, and there's so many stories, and it never ends. That is literally the legit part. The game never ends. There's always stories happening. Once you end one, there's going to be another one right after. It just keeps going on and on and on. And I know it's for a lot of multiplayer games. I know for a fact people can correct me on that part and be like, this is just, you know, just one of the stories, I guess you could say, for a game. So I just think it's really fascinating personally to see this, you know, this genre of a game come to our side, and I would love to just play this game personally, because I've been kind of waiting for like an online game of this type, and I know there's certain games like it, but it's not that feeling, I guess you could say, that it's there. So seeing this trailer come out personally for me is fascinating, and I actually wouldn't mind playing it personally. Speaking about games that I actually wouldn't mind playing, there is a game called Crossfire X, which they did do also a premiere on. It is apparently a very popular game, and I think it's very intriguing personally myself. I've loved first-person shooter games. I love just, you know, just a lot of action games. I guess you could say that's kind of the reason why my channel is called ActionSaiyanGamer. But either way, though, besides me talking about my channel here for a second, Crossfire X looks good, and there's something about this guy that's sitting down at the table who can move, I guess, really quickly during the time when the explosion happens. So what could we get out of this game? And that's kind of the part that's kind of fascinating, is wondering what this guy is, or maybe you could be the guy that's playing this as part of the game. I don't know. I would like to see more of this personally, but either way, if the game does come out with more gameplays soon, and also before, you know, anything else happens before the game releases, I would like to be stoked and see what happens from there. And the next thing, of course, the second last thing I should say, this has been a big list, trust me. We have Xbox Scarlet, so they announced more about the next-gen console, and I personally need to read my phone for this because I would not be able to say this without reading it personally. So we have the GDR6 chip, which is very fast if people know about it a lot more. It is 120 frames per second, and SSD RAM, which is really good, and it's coming out holiday 2020 with the new Halo Infinity. So if you guys really love Halo, literally the trailer itself personally is really good. I love how we get to see Master Chief just floating in space, and then realizing that the base has exploded. And now he's like out there trying to figure out what's going on. He meets this person's voice, not quite sure who. I'm guessing it's probably the AI. I feel like it, but I'm not quite sure who could it be. But either way, that's it for literally the E3 Microsoft conference. And personally, just to sum this all up, I loved it. This was probably my favorite, like, besides EA Play. EA Play, it was okay. I wouldn't say it was the greatest. I just felt like we saw reruns of things that we already knew about. So, but besides that, Xbox was amazing. Like, we had Keanu Reeves. We had great presentations on brand new games. Lots of world premieres. I didn't get a chance to talk about a lot about the indie games because they showed it really too quickly. So I wouldn't have been able to name all of them right away. But either way, if there's games that I have missed, you guys can let me know down in the comment section below. But I just found this whole presentation personally was amazing and astonishing. And personally, I wouldn't mind if it actually started first before EA Play, because I found right after that, watching Bethesda, I found watching their conference was more exciting right after seeing Xbox. So maybe they should have put EA Play a little bit beforehand than going ahead with Microsoft. I don't know. Just that's my personal taste. That's maybe just a little advice for EA. Maybe start afterwards when the big conventions happen, because I feel like if you start out before it, it's not going to be, no offense, the best. That's all I'm going to say. Unless you have some brand new games to show, go for it. Bethesda did a great job with their presentation, so if you do something like that, EA, hands down, I'm all for you. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you guys do want me to talk about EA Play, let me know down in the comment section below. I will talk about it. I'm not really too fond of what happened with that convention. That's why I'm not going to do a video. But either way, I'll see you guys later. Of course, in the next video, I'll be talking about Bethesda. I'll have my own video talking about the Dragon Ball Kakarot thing that has my own opinions that I love to talk about personally. But either way, I'll see you guys later. Peace out!